once it so happened that one student like you, a small student, class 7 or class 3 or 4, he asked me this question. Swamiji, whenever you start your lecture, you say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, only one verse. There are 14 verses. Don't you know all of them? You say the same thing again. And why do you say that? That was the question. See, friends, whenever we want to achieve success in life, what is required is we have to invoke confidence and courage, is it not? Confidence and courage comes when you are in tune with yourself. And this is how a default settings. The moment I chant this verse, the moment I remember my Guru, immediately everything gets dropped and I am fully available for whatever I am supposed to do. So this is something like, the tuning of the mind. You must have seen these people who play sitar or those who play tabla. They don't start straight away. First of all, tak tak, tuk tuk, tak tak, tak, dung, 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 dung. Or the sitar person, turn on. So what is that? That is nothing but tuning. In the same way, we have to tune our mind with something higher in us. And that tuning is achieved through sincere and intense prayer. And that is why whenever you begin anything in your life, just for 2 seconds or maybe half a minute, you just close your eyes and integrate yourself and invoke the self, the confidence, the best in you. And thereafter, get involved. Success is guaranteed. Our life has to be something extraordinary. What is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary? Anyone?
Ordinary means good, okay, and extraordinary is superb. Excellent, doing excellent in that work.
Good. Ordinary and extraordinary, the difference is, there is one extra word attached to the ordinary. It becomes extraordinary. Ordinary, everyone is. Ordinary means everyone. Extraordinary means there is some plus point in that particular individual. And what is that being extraordinary? Being extraordinary means there is average student, extraordinary student. Then there is average teacher, extraordinary teacher. Then there is average mother, extraordinary mother. There is average father, extraordinary father. There is average husband, extraordinary husband. See? So this extra factor goes with everything. So what is that extra factor? That extra factor is the ability to invoke our efficiency in every field. There are 2 words. One is expertise and second is efficiency. Now again tell me the difference between expertise and efficiency. You tell. The first one in the, yes.
Expertise means very good at something, and efficiency is you can do it, but expertise is your best at it.
Somewhere near. Yes.
Expertise means that person has mastered that particular field, and efficiency is he is good in doing that work, that particular work.
Somewhere still nearer. Any boys?
Efficiency means the person takes minimum time and minimum resources to do that work within a short period of time compared to other person, and that is called expertise.
Yes. Okay, now we'll put all the thoughts together and conclude. Expertise is limited to a particular field. He is expert in bluffing. And efficiency is that factor because of which one is able to develop expertise in every field. Got the point? So expertise is limited. Somebody may be an expert dancer, but may not be expert singer. So we have to invoke efficiency. And what is that efficiency? Whichever field we take, we are able to outwit our performance every time. That ability to bring out the best every time in every field that we get into is called as efficiency. This efficiency is the benchmark of all the extraordinary people. See? And when you are efficient, you have got a different inner instrument. And what is that different inner instrument? We are able to see beyond the obvious. See? One example I'll give you. Once one of my friends, many years before, about 20 years before, he got those days, this Maruti car has come recently in the market. And he got one, that Omni. And he said, Swamiji, I wish you sit first in my car before anybody sits. I said, okay, get it where I am. I'll sit. And when he came, parked the car, came to meet me, Swamiji, I got the car, please come. So when I came, saw from a distance, one of the wheels, tires, front left tire was down, flat. So from a distance I told him, I don't sit in a car with a flat tire. Swamiji, this is new. I said, this has nothing to do with the flat tire. New car can be also with a flat tire. No, I said, go and check. One wheel was flat. Okay, I'll change it. I said, change it. And then there was a jack below the front seat on the left side. And he was struggling to remove that, struggling, perspiring. 15 minutes gone, could not remove that. Swamiji, I think I will have to get some taxi fellow and he will do it. He has got a jack. I said, may I try? He said, Swamiji, I have been driving for last 30 years. I could not take out that jack. How can you take? I said, look here, even a dead clock gives correct time twice a day. I may not be driving, but yet I can know. I don't think. Anyway, I say, give me a chance, please. He said, okay, try. I did not do anything. I simply watched at that, where it was kept. And then put my hand and slowly did like this thing and took it out and gave it to him. How come you took it out? I said, because it is a dead clock. Then what you have done? I said, it's a common sense. It was not fitted with any nut bolt, but it was unscrewed. And as a result, when you unscrew, that jack opens up. And when you tightly unscrew, it gets fitted. And this is how it is not moving. So what I have done, I have again moved it in the clockwise direction. Immediately it has fallen, it has become loose and I have taken out. Oh God, Swamiji, I could not even think about it. I said, because you think unnecessarily, you cannot think properly. See, friends. So what is efficiency? Efficiency is application of your cool mind to any field. You get an intuitive understanding. And that intuitive understanding is what makes an ordinary into an extraordinary person. See, friends. Therefore, to be extraordinary must be the goal of our life. Don't be satisfied in your life with what you are achieving progress in your life. You have to keep higher standards. Unless you dream something great, you cannot struggle and achieve it. Have you seen that movie which I saw recently? Kung Fu Panda? If you have not seen, do see that. That is one of the movies I like the most. Better than, that Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. Better than that, this particular movie I like. And what is the message given in that movie? Those who have seen, tell.
Believe in yourself.
And something more? Yes?
You have to think that you are special.
Yes. See, that message was, that the roll which was tied up there, it gets, and finally what it tells, that there is no secret in life. It's a blank paper. And in that blank shining paper, you see yourself reflected. You are the hero of your life. You can make your life, you can mar your life. See, don't blame or depend on anybody in this world. Then only then extraordinary we can come. Otherwise, that panda, you have seen how huge structure, difficult for him to move, and yet he could achieve. Because only he had some dream that he want to become the best Kung Fu expert, and he did it. Therefore, the first and the most important thing, to be an extraordinary person means a person or a life with a difference. Not like everybody, like a sheep flock. No. Bring out the best in you. And the history is made by such few people who are counted on the fingers. And that chance we have to give to ourselves. And therefore, to be extraordinary and to be someone uncommon must be the goal of our life. Those who are unable to concentrate in studies or whatever they do you know what is the reason? The reason is we are not committed to the cause which is higher. That is the reason. In the life of Vivekananda, when he was with his guru, he asked one question. That, oh teacher, how come this mother, Kali, she speaks to you? Why she doesn't talk to me? So the teacher said, because you really don't want to talk to her. If you really want, sincerely, she will talk. What is the meaning of sincere? I really want that she should talk to me. No. If you sincerely want, she will talk. What do you mean by sincerity? What do you mean by intense longing? Then the teacher says, okay, let's finish our bath. It is the time for bath, no discussion. So they go to take bath in the Ganges. Having gone, both of them are in the waters. The teacher calls the student Vivekananda, a young boy of your kind only, puts his head below the water level. Presses it below. How long can you hold below the water? 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, maximum 50 seconds, 1 minute. And after his capacity to hold himself without breathing was over, no guru, no chela. And that time, the teacher says, how much intensely you were longing to breathe. When you were underwater, that much of intensity is required to bring out the best in you. See, friends, we lack intensity, friends. And therefore, let us not be satisfied with small little stuff in life. Have some great goal in life. You must have seen the taxi fellows. Those who have a passenger seated in their taxi, they are clear about the destination, is it not? They know where they have to go. And once they know where they have to go, then the path is automatically found out because the destination is clear. And and another taxi fellow, he doesn't have a passenger. How he loiters on the road, looking here, looking there. One day I was going with one person in Bombay, afternoon. So I told that person, I said, look here, you want to learn in your life 24 hours, then you will become extraordinary. He said, how to learn 24 hours? I said, see, we are casually going for a walk, is it not? Yes. Now see that taxi fellow. He is simply seated there, no passenger. And if two of us walk towards him, he will start feeling, oh, passenger is coming, passenger is coming. Now I'll get somebody. They will sit. I'll take them somewhere. You go nearer to the taxi and ask him, कैसे हो भैया? Oh God, no passenger. ठीक हो. हाँ, कहीं जाना है क्या? नहीं. हाँ, ठीक है. So he had only one vision. Anybody coming towards the taxi is a passenger, is it not? Mind is clouded. Mind is not free. In the same manner, our mind is always clouded. It is never free. And because the mind is not free, always clouded, we are not able to see the things as they are. And therefore, our perceptions go wrong. And when our perceptions go wrong, we cannot achieve something great in life. Therefore, we have to keep our mind at peace all the time. Let us stop reacting. Most of us react in life. Anything that is said by somebody, immediately react. See? Like, suppose the mom says something. Mom, I want to go for a party. No party, please. Oh, you are always like that. Everybody is going, you are not on me. See? Mother, father, they are not our enemies, friends. But this is the age when we think that nobody understands me. I am the only one who is suffering in this. No. Stop reacting. So, our life has to be with a difference, extraordinary, and for that, one principle, some higher goal in life. And what should be the higher goal for the students? Going through with good marks and great success, plus whatever extra time you have, like your vacations, etc. Learn. The day you stop learning in your life, you have become old. You know the signs of old age? Signs of old age is they don't want to learn anything. You must be seeing in your own houses. Suppose you tell your grandfather or grandmother something, Mama, why don't you write an email? Oh, email, I don't know, I don't know to touch. They have got, the computer phobia. The moment the computer comes in front of them, they hold it. No, you do. Apne ko nahi aata, tum karo. Why fear? Because the process of learning is stopped. Age can be arrested in growing if our process of learning never stops. And therefore, keep on learning anything. Doesn't matter, you may use it, you may not use it. One of the field I tell you, which will definitely help you in your life in learning, and that is learn languages. Learn as many languages as you can. Not only Gujarati or French or German, but also different languages within our country. It's a great fun. You are exposed to a lot of beautiful thoughts. And this is how an ordinary person becomes extraordinary. And then as we keep on growing, we are growing wiser with every additional experience. Because we are learning from every experience. If we don't learn from our experience, then what happens? We grow old and otherwise, not wise. And those who don't grow wise, they don't get respect in this world. And then they are frustrated and dejected. Therefore, we have to make our life with a difference. And this is the difference. That we are capable of achieving success in the outer world, and we are keeping our cool in the inner world. Both of them must go side by side. We come across many people who are extraordinary as regards their prosperity in the outer world is concerned. But in their own personal life, they are worse than the poorer than the poorest. Because they have never taken care of their inside. And therefore, these two things must be balanced. For achieving success in the outer world, we have to put forward a lot of efforts and sincere involvement. And for doing that, we have to be composed and cool within inside. When these two things come together, success is guaranteed in life. Such a person is now designed for guiding others. To be a leader, you require some positive qualities. And of all the positive qualities, two qualities are extremely essential. One is, we have to be capable and authoritative. Capable means our abilities. Authoritative means what? We have the authority to execute something. See? And the second quality is we have to have dispassion. A person who doesn't have dispassion, dispassion means he who is not too much attracted toward the worldly things, towards his own comforts. I can give you the best example of an ideal leader. That is our Mr. K.K. Nair. Look at him. See his life. See the quality of his life. He is so dedicated. He has no Saturday, no Sunday, no holiday. Morning 7 o'clock he comes till the evening 7:38. Never he has thought of taking holidays. Never about his personal comforts. Only dedicated to the cause of AMA. That capability plus the authority. He is the managing director. He has got the authority. So capability and authority on one side and dispassion. Not leading a life of only comforts, comforts, comforts. This is where the modern MBAs are failing. You know, in USA, you all must be knowing, when there was a bailing out of many companies, to receive that beggary from the government, the so-called big MBAs and CEOs, they came in their private planes. A beggar coming for taking the beggar in plane. See? Because it cannot understand a life of simple existence. They want all the pop and show. Therefore, real achievement and a good leader is born in us when we have these two aspects. On one side, capability and authority, and other side, complete dispassion. We give minimum to ourselves, give maximum to the world. Then you will see the best in us will start coming out. Therefore, when we are extraordinary, then we can become a leader. And then after having become a leader, then we have to be a successful leader. The success in our leadership depends on these two factors. In this manner, when the whole thing is put together, Achievement is possible for everyone. We are not born in this world to fail. We are not born in this world to be defeated. We are not born in this world to be deceived. We are not born in this world to be miserable. We are not born in this world to die. See, many youngsters, they get into this wrong mode of depression, dejection only because they have become too much extrovert. Don't get carried away by the Coca-Cola culture, the so-called TV advertisements, the various billboards. They are all deceptive. They are not true. See, I was in Pune, and there are many models, I know them personally. So one day I was talking to one. I said, hey, when all the places your pictures come, how do you feel, what do you feel? He says, Swamiji, we get only 5,000 rupees for 8 hours trial. And in that 8 hours, the photographers, they take our life. Stand this way, stand that way, stand this way. It is so disgusting. But when we see their pictures, oh, how beautiful she looks, I will also look like that. Don't get carried away. These are all paper flowers. They are not real. You see, the real life is totally different than on the screen. Therefore, discover your own inner strength. Have some higher goal to be achieved. And when you are dedicated to your higher goal, you will never have the problem of concentration. How many of you have got problem of concentration that when you study, you can't concentrate? Most of the students have. Most of us have got this problem. Normally, Swamiji, I am all right. Like, some people who do meditation, they ask us this question. Swamiji, normally I am all right, but whenever I sit for meditation, all the dirty and terrible thoughts come in my mind, I think. I think it is because of meditation. But we don't understand the cause behind it. And when we don't understand the cause, we are suppressing and becoming frustrated. It is something like, I am working below a truck. All the oil and dirt and everything is on my clothes. And afterwards I go to the river to wash my clothes. So I wet them in the water nicely and apply the soap, detergent, and start cleaning. Out of that dirty cloth, what should come out? Milk or coffee? What is contained in that dirty cloth, that only will come out, is it not? So if the dirt comes out of the cloth, it is good or bad? In the same manner, we have never taken care of our mind. Now tell me, in your own life, you must have taken care of your clothes, must have taken care of your room, must have taken care of your teeth, body, eyes, everything. But what care you have taken about your mind? Think. Because we can think, because there are thoughts, we are not thinkers. Thoughts doesn't make us thinker. Because there are plants and trees, is it called as a garden? What is the difference between jungle and a garden? In jungle also, the trees and the plants grow. In garden also, the trees and the plants grow. The basic difference is, in the jungle, the trees and plant growth is uncontrolled. And in that uncontrolled vegetation, wild animals exist. And when we go in the jungle, we are afraid. Contrary to that, in the garden, every plant is selected, planted, pruned, maintained, then irrigated, manured, every single plant. And when we go to the garden, we are so happy. Now find out, what is our mind? Is it a Yahoo jungly mind? Or it is a garden? See, friends, therefore we have to select the thoughts and then plant them in our mind. And for growth of the good thoughts, we have to weed out the unwanted thoughts. See? Now this practice, unless we consciously do it, we will never be our friend. Such people, they end up into negative thinking. Anywhere they go, they cannot see the positive approach to life. And then they are constantly worried. And then it becomes their habit. For example, I saw one movie many years before. There was one character. And that character had this habit. Anywhere he or she goes, starts imagining. And that imagination, he thinks it is really happening and starts shouting. And then again is controlled. I know nothing has happened, thank God. But he is imagining all that daydreaming. So he goes for a marriage. And he sits in a chair, watching the whole marriage ceremony. In the center there is Agni Kunda, the fire. And the boy and the girl tied down with a cloth, and they are going around. And from this side he is seeing that the knot of the cloth is crossing over the fire. And he imagines the fire has caught up the cloth, and then the boy is burning and the girl is burning. The boy runs among the gents, the girl runs among the ladies, and all of them get into the fire. And the whole thing is in fire. And he shouts, see, aag lagi, bujhao, bujhao, bujhao. And people say, what happened to him? Exactly this is what happens in our mind. We keep on thinking, eating the nail, and go on imagining. And in that imagination, time is wasted, our energy is destroyed, we become negative, and we are unable to think something higher. And at that time, if our mom and dad say something, that becomes an ignition and we explode. See, friends, take care of your mind. Like we have to take care of our body. How do we take care of our body? By giving proper food, is it not? If you give junk food, then our body will not be healthy. In the same manner, what kind of food we give to our mind? The food to the mind is good, creative, positive thoughts. And to get these thoughts, make it a point. You read the life stories of great masters. Anyone, whether it's a Napoleon, whether it is Dhirubhai Ambani, or anyone who has really succeeded in life. And then you will see that they have gone through a lot of difficulty and challenge. See? But that time we don't understand that these difficulties are for our own good. Once, I went to some area in Andhra Pradesh, mountainous area, huge boulders. And when I was going, I heard some crying sound. I said, who is crying? So when I was passing, there was one stone which was chosen for carving into some beautiful idol of the Lord. So the sculptor will come and start hitting. And then he will go after his job is done. And the stone was crying, I am the only unlucky. Every day this man comes and hits me, chisel and hammer. See, others are so lucky. Nobody touches them. They are so happily standing there and watching me. They don't come and help me. But the sculptor will never listen. He will take the chisel and hammer. And one day, when a beautiful idol came, it was lifted and installed in a big temple. And thereafter, hundreds and thousands and millions of people will come, prostrate, seek for the blessings. That time, now the same stone started telling, how lucky I am. I was unclaimed. Nobody even recognized my presence. But that great sculptor, when he was giving me the chisel and hammer treatment, I was cursing him. But it is this treatment alone which has taken away the unwanted junk from me, and the inner hidden beauty was surfaced. Then he started thanking to the sculptor. Friends, every difficulty is the chisel hammer stroke to our personality to bring out the best in us. See, if you read Ramayana, remove the episode of Ravana from Ramayana. You know, according to Valmiki Ramayana, Bhagwan Ram ruled for 11,000 years. Out of that 11,000 years, 14 years he has gone to forest. Out of the 14 years, 13 years he was in Chitrakoot, comfortable. No job, no nothing, enjoyed his life. And remaining 1 year, half a year he was moving among the rishis and saints and sages and getting a great hospitality. And only in the remaining 6 months that the Xerox copy of Sita ji was taken away by Ravana, not the original. Original was already hidden. See? And the whole Ramayana is focused on, how difficult it was, and out of the 11,000 years, 6 months. But that is the time when the best in Rama came out. In the same manner, in our life, this is the time for you all. The best can come out, provided you seek something higher in life. Don't be satisfied with little things. And what should be at this stage? 2 things. Extremely good performance in your studies in the outer world. And within also, you have to grow in the form of good quality life. And what is the best quality life? Be cheerful and happy all the time. Don't have a swollen face. Hare Ram, 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 Ram. See? Remain always cheerful. When these 2 things you bring together, you are carved for something extraordinary. And suppose I want to get some work done. Whom will I approach? When I come to know that this particular person is capable. Second thing, when this particular person is trustworthy. And third, this particular person will do it. Then I can approach that person in the same manner. When we become capable, all good work comes to us. I remember about 25 years before, I asked my guru, "Sir, I want to write a book." That time I was small. He said, "Not now." Again after 1 month, 2 months, again. "Sir, shall I write the book?" He said, "Not now." Then I was getting so angry. He doesn't know. Then third time when I went, he said, "Look here, my dear, when you will become capable, books will come out of you. You don't have to struggle. Now if you start writing, you struggle. And anything you do as a struggle, you are going the wrong way. Success is easy. It is not difficult. See, friends, one example I'll tell you how the struggle is a wrong approach to life. We must put effort, but no struggle. Struggle is a wrong approach. One example I'll give you. Once we ordered one of my laptops in USA by internet. And when it came, my friend said, Swamiji, shall I open it? I said, open, but don't break the covering, because I want to take it to India. Okay. And he was struggling. Swamiji, I think we have to tear it off. I said, no, please, don't do that. Then if you are through, let me try. And then I just studied the whole package. After having studied, only the plastic, air-free tight wrap, that we could open, and thereafter simply put 2 fingers in 2 corners and just pulled it out. Everything came out without touching the whole package. How come it is so easy? I said, this is the rule. Wherever you struggle, you are going the wrong way. If our ordinary packages are so beautifully packed, in the same manner, our life is also packed so beautifully. It is not difficult, friends. To be successful is easy, provided we know the art. And that art is this. External success depends on your internal coolness. Be cool within, and you are bound to succeed when you are dedicated to your goal in life. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. If somebody is having a fracture, dislocation of the hip joint, a collar, and the hand twisted, and he goes to a gym and tells that person, hey, I want to learn weightlifting. So what that person who is in charge of the gym, what he will do? Okay, you have come for weightlifting. Now lift one papad. Is he fit for going to the gym? Gym is for whom? Those who are physically healthy, is it not? In the same manner, friends, remove this wrong notion from your mind. Meditation for stress, meditation for concentration, meditation for peace of mind. No, please. When you are perfect, then meditation is meant for you. Don't have the wrong notion that when we are good for nothing, we are good for meditation. As if meditation is the worst thing in life. Therefore, please recognize this principle. What exactly we achieve in meditation? And when this is clear, you will see meditation will start happening. See? We don't have to struggle in meditation. It is a deep, silent, cheerful experience which is 24/7, which is never disturbed. So meditation is not doing something. Many of us have this notion. One day I was going by train in Bombay. And next to me, the seat was free. So one person got in the train. Oh, Swamiji, is good I met you. Do you deal in meditation? I said, yes, I am a wholesale dealer. Now, can you teach me meditation? How to do that? I said, okay. But hurry, because next station I am getting out. So hardly 5-7 minutes. Teach meditation. I said, okay, let your station come, I will tell you. Quickly. Now the station has come, another 1 minute. I said, now from here, immediately get out of the train, go to the chemist, buy one tin of sleeping pills and eat it like rasam and sambar, the whole tin of sleeping pills. Then what will happen? It will be called as chemical meditation. And you will never come out of it, you will always remain there. Meditation is not an act that we do. Meditation is a poise in which we live all the time. See? This is the first thing about meditation to be known. Then the second thing. If we really want to do and achieve something great in our life, what is required is this poise of meditation should always remain. It should not be disturbed. Now, third point. Whenever you are disturbed, you find out who is disturbed. See, you as a daughter will be disturbed. You as a son will be disturbed. You as a brother will be disturbed. You as a sister will be disturbed. You as a mother will be disturbed. You as a mother-in-law will be disturbed. But you as a man or a woman will never be disturbed. See? Watch within yourself. Now we'll play meditation. Okay? Sit quiet and imagine for a few moments that you are brother or sister respectively. Stop. Now play another role. You are, imagine, father and mother respectively. Stop. Now imagine, you are the father-in-law and mother-in-law respectively. Stop. You are a student. Stop. You are the enemy of someone. Stop. And last, you are Mr. Nobody. Stop. Now let us analyze this data. When you took the position of a brother or a sister, whose thoughts came? The thoughts about the sister and brother. When you took the position of an enemy, the thoughts about your enemy came. Is it not? And when you were Mr. Nobody, was there any thought disturbing you? If this you understand clearly, all your meditation will be, then we all have to play different roles in life. See? When I am in front of my mother, I am a son or a daughter. When I am in front of my teacher, I am a student. When I am in front of my student, I am a teacher. So we all have to play different roles, is it not? But if we are not able to play all the roles perfectly. And then all the roles get overlapped on each other. As a result, we become angry on one and take out that anger on other. Because there is admixture. See, friends, I received one SMS. Hey, you are like a tiger when you are outside. What happens to you when you go home? I continue to be tiger, only the Sherawali is sitting on me. Rest of the time I am the same. See? So we all have to play different roles. And when you have to play the different roles, we have to play every role perfectly and beautifully. And when the role is over, relax and remain as Mr. Nobody. So what will be meditation? Try to remain as Mr. Nobody for longer and longer period. Wherever you are sitting, not necessarily in a particular posture, you are sitting in your room, there is nobody around, nothing to do, nothing. Just play. Hey, let us play Mr. Nobody. Sit quiet and try to remain as nobody. You have to struggle zero. See? So, what is meditation? Remaining basically as Mr. Nobody and playing all the roles which we are supposed to play. There is one great artist, I don't know whether he has come to Ahmedabad. He plays, he is a single person, Shekhar Sen from Varanasi, he is a Bengali, and he presents single-handed the various characters such as Kabir. Have you seen? He presents single person on the stage. He presents the characters 26 in numbers, one person. He is Kabir, he is his father, he is his mother, he is his wife, he is his friend, he is the crowd, he is the mullah, he is the pandit. All the dialogues, different voices, different expressions, and plus music. 2.5 hours solid. One man. The whole picture is brought before you. Complete life of Kabir. And when the performance is over, the whole audience gives him a standing ovation. For what? Because he could play every role perfectly, is it not? In the same manner, my friends, life is fulfillment if we can play every role perfectly. See? Playing our role perfectly, every role, without a compromise, is living in meditation. Don't have that wrong क्या हो रहा है? Meditation in progress, take D2, don't disturb. That is not meditation, that's a cartoon of meditation. See? Therefore, meditation is a poise. And this can be very easily practiced. How many of you study music? Good. Now those who study music, they know that you have got one base scale, Shruti, is it not? Somebody has Kali 5, somebody has Kali 4. And you have that tambora behind, a great artist, they sing, is going on. That is a standard. From there, all the other sounds, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, goes up. And again, sa, ni, da, pa, pa, ga, re, sa, comes down. But that bass sound is never missed. In the same manner, the music of our life comes from this foundation called as Mr. Nobody. Friends, practice this throughout your life. We all have to play different roles. Now you are playing the role of the children to your parents, students. When you will be grown up, This you must have heard from your mothers. There is one girl in US, when she was maybe some of your age, one day she had a fight with her mom. Mom never understands me. So the mother said, when you will become mother, then you will understand me what I am telling you. Every mother tells this to their daughter. And now she is married, she is settled in USA. Whenever I go there, he says, Swamiji, my mother has cursed me. Why? She told me, you will understand when you become mother. Now I have got 2 daughters and they really drive me nuts. I don't know what I should do now. I think it is a curse from the mother. See, friends, we don't understand it at this stage. Therefore, when we are leading our life, keep this principle. Remain as Mr. Nobody and play your role perfectly. The moment the role is over, switch off. See? Like we have the various channels of our TV, just change from it. So when you are playing a particular role, play it perfectly well. Never do anything half-heartedly in life. The next principle of meditation. Many of us have got these default settings. We never get ourselves fully involved in anything. See? Suppose we have to take food. Oh, I don't feel like taking food, mommy. No, come on, it's getting late now. I can't wait for you. Okay, and eat. This is wrong. See, anything you do or don't do, do it wholeheartedly, not with a hole in the heart. See, this is such a bad habit. And then you can't enjoy. Instead of doing something to get happiness, do everything happily. You are in meditation. See, if this basic principle is understood, and such a student, now he or she comes on the seat of meditation. Okay, lagao meditation, kya karna? Do you think such a student will ever really enjoy life? Therefore, learn to take interest in whatever you do fully. And I'll tell you one secret. 100% presence is God realization. 100% presence. I'll tell you one experience. This happened when I was coming from London to Bombay. On the airport, those days there was not terrorism problem. So many people used to come to the airport, and one lady, when I was leaving, she burst open, cried and all that, and hugged, and Swamiji, come very quickly. Okay. And when I got inside and sat in my seat, next to me there were 2 Britishers sitting. Britishers are little snobbish. They normally don't talk to everybody. That old lady and her husband in the aisle seat, and I was sitting in the window. I always sit near the window, so that if required I can get out quickly. Or else you can get pakode wala, chai wala, garam, I can even deal. So I sit near the window. And when the flight started, she asked me, so many people came to leave you. What do you do? So I say, I love. The moment I said I love, that lady broke. She started crying. How can you so casually say you love and your word has touched my heart? I said, Mom, because I love you also. She became such a good friend. See, what is the secret? Secret is wherever you are 100% present. You must have seen the small kids. When they talk to you or your mother, They want to tell you something. And you and your mother are busy. Okay, okay. Then what happened? You tell, I am listening, okay? And the mother is busy. Do you think the child likes that? He will bring his small little palms, put around mommy. Mommy, look at me. I'm talking to you. See? Everybody needs 100% attention. And this is possible to cultivate by the simple technique. Whatever you are doing in your life, get yourself fully involved. Never do anything half-heartedly. So if you are talking, 100% you are present. If you are listening, 100% you are present. If you are eating, you are enjoying every single bite. Otherwise, I don't know. Like, the other day probably I told you, I went to somebody's house for food. And me and my friend were sitting. And when she gave me food, I said, Mama, there is no salt in sabji, give me some salt. So I added, and when I was eating, Swamiji, he never tells me anything, whether there is salt or anything. I said, I am not a buffalo, I enjoy every bite. See? Learn to enjoy every moment of your life, you are in meditation. See? If this much is clear, then to recognize this, one is being, hona. Second is recognition, pehchanna. See? Like, you are so many of you here. Now, I don't know anybody's name. And this girl will meet me, let us say, after 15 years. And she will say, Swamiji, do you know me? I said, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't remember. Who are you? No, Swamiji, I came for your camp and I was sleeping always in your class. Oh, that girl? Yes. Now are you awake? No, I am also sleeping now. See? So when we have to know and also recognize, the truth has to be recognized. And for recognition of that, real me is our present exercise. So yesterday, 2 days rather, we have taken care of the body and the prana, the breathing. Today we will take care of the mind. And then we will come to know what exactly the truth is. It's very simple, friends. It's not difficult. Consciousness is knowledge. Mind is also knowledge. Now, what is the difference between these two? For example, this is a mobile phone. How the mobile phone is known by us? First step in the knowledge. This is a mobile phone. Second step in knowledge. I know this is a mobile phone. Third step in knowledge. I am not the mobile phone. Otherwise, what a great fun it will be. This is a donkey. I am not, I know this is a donkey and I am a donkey. No, it doesn't happen. See? So that knowledge which creates a sense of otherness is mind. Make it clear. That knowledge which creates a sense of otherness is mind. In our deep sleep experience, when we are snoring away, that time, what is our experience? See, once in Calcutta, many years before, I went to see this Durga Puja somewhere. And those days, that metro rail has newly been installed in Calcutta. So our youngsters like you, Swamiji, you never went by that, today we'll go by this. I said, okay, we went there. And that pandal of that Durga Mata, huge crowds. I said, my God, I will do namaskar from here. You go take darshan and come. I'll stand here, near the police. So you can recognize me. Then when they went, and then I started talking to the police. I said, I always feel bad about you people. You work so hard. You are such great people. Boshun. Immediately I got a seat, free. And then in that aisle, in the center, I was sitting with a Sai Baba pose, like this thing. And when all these youngsters who came with me, they came, our Swami is sitting right in the center where we came. And then we are going back. It was morning, 3, 4 o'clock. So on the footpath, so many people were sleeping. I said, hey, let us play. Now you see this thing? Yes. Say one statement per person. Look at this and say something. So one person said, oh, they are all sleepy, slept. Very good. You say, oh, poor fellows, they don't get even a house to sleep. Therefore, they are sleeping on the footpath. Okay, you say. 3, 4, 5 of them said different things. I said, very good, let's go. No, you say. They told me. I said, okay, I'll say. Now, the man is not a man. The woman is not a woman. The goat is not a goat. The dog is not a dog. See, in the deep sleep experience, all the differences disappear, is it not? You must have had this experience. I don't know, nowadays it is not there, earlier it used to be there. When there used to be very few AC trains, so we used to travel by 3-tier compartment, ordinary compartment. And when you get there, then the fighting starts. जी मेरी जगह है, ये तुम्हारे बाप की है क्या नहीं, मेरे बाप की नहीं. A great fun. I used to enjoy that. And thereafter fighting, and then you settle down and don't touch me, keep away and all that. Then the train starts, garmi is there, heat is there, then the dabbas open, and then you get dhokla and you take idli, and slowly, and when the food goes in and the lullaby of the train, you slowly go into sleep. And when you go into sleep, then your feet are in somebody's lap. No objection. Then somebody's hand is in your pocket. No objection. Because all the differences disappeared, is it not? Understand. Mind is that experience which is always talking about differences. Consciousness is that knowledge which does not talk about differences. Both are knowledges. Like you see me, how do you see me? By your eyes. Okay. You know you are, is it not? Do you have any doubt whether you are there or not? Do you know Bhagavad Gita? I think, I don't know, I may be knowing. Good. Do you know you are? I think, I may be. No. There is no doubt about our being, is it not? Now tell me, how do we know ourselves? You are there, yes. How do you know? I have smelt, I am there. Or do I know that I have been leaking? Very sweet, I am there. No. We know our presence without any medium, is it not? If you close your eyes, can you see me? So you are seeing me through the medium of your eyes. In the same manner, our presence is recognized without the medium of any instrument. That is called as our pure conscious existence. See? Now these two knowledges I spoke to you. Mind as a knowledge and consciousness as a knowledge. When mind as a knowledge is expressing, there is division, separateness, I versus you, and fight and competition, friends and enemies. But when I as a consciousness is recognized, then all the differences dissolve. And what remains is the most blissful experience. Is it not? Whenever we are out of our deep sleep, fresh, how comfortable and good we feel. Do we say, oh God, I have been sleeping for 8 hours, now I am damn tired, I want to take rest? No. Do any job for 8 hours, how tired we become? Now what is that because of which after the sleep we are fresh? Because in the sleep we were one with our consciousness, that is our real nature. Ordinary people and the great masters have this difference. Ordinary people live only at the level of the mind. And therefore, they are always tired, frustrated, dejected, angry, greedy, all kinds of things. But the great masters are living always as consciousness through the body, as consciousness through the senses, as consciousness through the mind. And therefore, even they may be doing a lot of work, they are ever fresh. Therefore, friends, please understand, consciousness expressing through the body as mind enlivens the body. Is there light only in electricity? Is there light only in bulb? When electricity and the bulb, they come together under a particular set of conditions, then only the light manifests, is it not? In the same manner, when the consciousness expresses through the body as mind, the body is enlivened. And in the light only the world is seen. In the same manner, when the consciousness expresses through the body as mind, the world appears. Therefore, what will be meditation with reference to mind? Let the mind be there, but let the mind be not a problem. So we have got two aspects of mind. One aspect of the mind is that gives life. Second aspect of the mind is that gives problem. Now what is the problematic aspect of the mind? Suppose you take a golden ring. What is the shape of gold? You have studied in metallurgy. Have you ever studied about any metal? What is the shape of a metal? We never study, is it not? You study all other attributes. What is the specific gravity? What is the conductivity? Everything. But do we study, oh, gold has got a round shape? No. So the gold doesn't have a shape. But when it is cast into a ring, then there are two aspects. One is the gold is supporting the ring. That is not a problem. But when a particular shape is given, then there is a problem. Oh, it is a wedding ring. See? So the moment you put a wedding ring, problem begins. In the same manner, one aspect of the mind which is responsible for our digestion, our blood circulation, and our metabolism, and all the functions of our life, that aspect of the mind is a healthy mind. And that mind does not create any problem. See, there is no sin or merit created. There are no differences created because of that. It is a common denominator for all of us. Now the second aspect of the mind is the mind takes the shape of the body. And when the mind has taken the shape of the body, then what will happen? The mind will start thinking only in relation to this body. See? If you can imagine, a river is nicely flowing. And there is no disturbance of any kind. Slowly it is flowing. Suppose you put a post or you hold a stick. Around that particular stick, there will be a different movement of the water. It is called as ebbing, E-B-B-I-N-G. It will be called ebbing will happen. Why? Because that object is inserted there. In the same manner, mind is one. It is not my mind and your mind is different. See? Because you also see by the eyes, I also see through the eyes. You also hear through the ears and so on. There is no difference. The difference is only in our body shape. Mine is a masculine body, yours is a feminine body, mine is an old body, yours is a young body. This is all the difference. And when we sleep, this aspect of the mind, which has taken the shape of the body, that disappears. And only life remains. Therefore, meditation is going beyond the influence of this aspect of the mind. Therefore, if you remember 2 days I have been telling you, when you sit quiet, relax the body fully, what happens is, it is the mind that is relaxed and not the body. See, if you take this example, this phone is hanging with the string. Who is having tension, the string or the phone? String. Clear? Now keep this phone on the scale without leaving the string. Suppose the weight is 50 grams. Okay? Then I leave the string fully. The weight will increase or decrease? Why it will increase? Because a part of the weight was held by this string, is it not? Exactly this is what happens. When I told you, sit quiet and relax the body, don't you feel the heaviness in the body? Why the heaviness comes? Because the mind has given up the shape of the body. And when the mind has given up the shape of the body, the concept inside and outside disappears. Now what is our experience? I am inside the body, you are outside the body. Is it not? And when this in and out is valid, then the relative world begins, friends and enemies, loss and gain becomes real. Therefore, meditation is to discard the shape and the size of the body from the mind and come to live as a homogeneous, undivided knowledge called as consciousness. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.